Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Last year, May 2020, was a tough time for me. I was only 2.5 years removed from Brockbridge Correctional Facility. Still on parole, newborn on the way in 90 days, and trying to hold on to a paralegal job that I enjoyed, but it wasn't exactly where my heart was. You see, in October 2017, when I was released, I started a limited liability company that would be called Lightning Electric. A company that would be primarily focused on hiring from the underserved community and other ex-offenders like myself. This is where my heart was embedded. So I began moonlighting my career as an electrical contractor while working as a paralegal. For 2.5 years, I worked tirelessly, obtaining small contracts to build Lightning Electric's portfolio. Through this time, we worked contract to contract, funding a lot of our projects from recent payments, willing family members willing to loan us money, and my wages as a paralegal. This is where I go back to revisit May 2020 being a tough time for me. I got a call that we were denied financing for our company for a third time. Shortly after that, we received notice that we were also denied a loan for the Paycheck Protection Program because, as I was then and I am still now, on parole. And then another email came. And that email said, Lightning Electric, you've been awarded the renovation contract that you competitively bid on in January. A bid that I learned through YouTube how to do. So, again, I highlight that as a joke, but I highlight that to say it was no help trying to come up as a commercial electrical contractor. This contract was valued at $125,000. This is one of our biggest contracts at the time. I was going to be able to employ 5 ex-offenders for a time of at least 9 months till maybe a year. A contract that I knew well that we can do, but we still had the same dilemma, no finance. In August of last year, Baltimore Community Lending approved financing for $50,000. That contract allowed me to move forward, allowed me to hire my guys, allowed me to buy material, open up accounts with supply houses, and get that job going and moving. I say that because I want us to realize in this time, we got a lot going on in the city. And we know the term of this venue tonight is Reimagining Baltimore. We're talking about a lot of the violence that's going on in the city that is really out of control. And we're focusing on a lot of the violent offenders and nonviolent offenders being in and out of prison, in and out of prison. We know what they're doing out of prison. That's the reason why we deemed it appropriate to put them in prison. We're not focusing on what we're doing with these ex-offenders while they're in prison. Guys think we're going to go back to the 80s and lock people up for, a bunch of time. I mean, there's some people that do deserve to be locked up for a long time, but they will be coming home. With the pension of God, I had the opportunity to be afforded Goucher College while I was in prison, Georgetown University Scholars Program while I was in prison, and I learned a lot about my business. I learned a lot on what to do, and that's the reason why a week out, I spent $185 and I went down to the state building to start my limited liability company with no help or no assistance. I ask you, when we reimagine Baltimore, we look at what I can do. The permission of God, we just got awarded a growth loan from Baltimore Community Lending this morning. This year, we'll probably reach, with these next 2 jobs, maybe over $500,000 in revenue. And again, this was done because when I was in prison, I realized what more I can do because I was afforded a higher education. And I was released and I hit the ground running. Let's reimagine Baltimore. Let's start thinking of what we can do with this city. A lot of this violence cries for help. Start figuring out how we can start delegating and pushing our delegates, our representatives, to focus in more education on all of the violence, because all of those people will probably be going to prison. More than likely, we deem that appropriate. That's what we voted, right? What are we going to do while they're in prison? Thank you. Great evening.